Hey family, and welcome back. So you clicked on this video because you want to figure out how to fix your relationship. I have 5 tips for you today, but before I jump into those tips, for those of you who are finding me for the very first time, my name is MarshaunO. I go by MarshaunO, and I help Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. Now, if that sounds like something you need help with, reach out to me, send me a DM, or go to my Calendly link to set up your free life-changing consultation, or send me an email at marshaun@marshaunolaniyo.com, and all of that is down in the description box below. So now I want to jump into these 5 tips because there are so many people out there in relationships that just really don't have a clue what you're doing. You just don't. And so when things go bad, because you've had an expectation that wasn't going the way that you thought it should go, now you don't really know what you should do. So I want to help you to go from being in a bad relationship to getting to a good relationship, and at the very least a stable relationship, because this will increase and become better with time. The more that you decide to say, you know what, I need to put in the work, because this thing didn't happen overnight to be bad, and it's not going to be fixed overnight to turn into good. So even if you can start the trek on becoming good, so it's bad, and then maybe you're here and it's like, oh, okay, and then maybe you go up here and it's like, okay, things are starting to level out, and then all of a sudden, if you continue to do the things that I mentioned here today, then it will start to level out and even rise up to the good status as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the 5 tips. The very first thing is to discover who you are. Now, ladies, you must discover who you are before you jump into these relationships, because this is the key factor in you fixing that bad relationship. Now, a way to turn around your relationship is literally to start working on yourself. Figure out the things that you like, the things that you don't like, the things that you want in your life, the things that you desire out of your life. And this starts with you. So I'm talking about specifically you. What do you like? Who are you? And not your job title, not your mom status, or not your relationship status. Who are you? If somebody comes to you and say, who are you? What do you tell them? Or do you list off the major 3 that people go with? Their careers, their children, their relationship status? Nope. Who are you? Those are parts of you, but that is not who you are. So you have to figure out who you are, the things that you like, the things that you don't like, the things that you despise, the areas that you need to work on. You need to figure out why you act a certain way, why you react certain ways, and then why are you clingy? Like, where is all of this stuff coming from? You need to sit down and have a full assessment of who you are. Discovering who you are is the very first way to fix a bad relationship. You have to be able to know who you are. So when somebody asks you, i.e. your partners, who are you? What are the things you like? What are your beliefs? What are your values? You will have an idea what all of that means and be able to articulate what that is. Who are you? Have you ever thought about that? Let me know down in the comment section below. Have you ever thought about who you actually are? Have you taken an assessment of who you are? And what did you come up with? Number 2, don't take everything personally. When we're in these romantic relationships, we have a tendency to take things personally because it is coming from the person that we're lying next to at night, the person that we're saying, I love you, the person that you're saying, I'm in love with you, the person that you may have bared children with, and you thought it was going to be a specific way. And so whenever your partner comes to you with a complaint, something that you need to work on, you're focusing on the way that maybe he delivered it to you, or you're focusing on that you just don't want to hear it because you're doing everything right, which is usually not the case. Each and every one of us, including myself, have areas that we need to continuously work through and work on so we can become better and fix that bad relationship and turn it into a good relationship. It is constant work on yourself to become better. And once you become better, your relationship will absolutely be better. It all starts with you, because you are the change that you are seeking. You are the change that you are seeking. And so maybe you're one of those people who's always pointing the finger. It's always your spouse's fault, or somebody else's fault for that matter. In this case, your spouse. You have to remember that there are several other fingers that are pointing back at yourself, because everything that you're doing is a reflection of your relationship. So if you feel that you guys argue all the time, it's because you yourself are an argumentative person. If you're always nagging about something, or feel like you're being nagged about something, it's because you are a nagger. If you feel like your partner is untrustworthy, it's because you yourself are doing things that are untrustworthy. And it might be those minute things that you're not looking at to say, oh, that was untrustworthy of me. No, you're not looking at it that way. But whenever you attract the person that you're currently with, it's because you are that person. That your partner, your spouse, is a direct reflection of who you are when you attracted that person. And so maybe you're a person who's now on the growth area. You're trying to be better. That person, if they're not on the growth speed or growth track with you, they are the person that you used to be. So you have to remember that. You have to not take things personally whenever he comes to you or she comes to you and says a particular thing that you don't like. Try not to take what they're saying to you personally. Think about what they're actually delivering to you. What is the message? Focus on the message and then work on that, because 9 times out of 10, you've heard this thing more than once. And if you have not, they're saying it for a reason. They're saying it for a reason. So take heed and start to work on those things. Stop taking everything personally. Thicken up your skin so you can get down to the real cause, the real root, the meat of what your partner is saying, versus focusing on what he or she is actually saying to you. Now, your partner should be watching their delivery, absolutely, but we're speaking about you here. So I can't go too deep into what they should be doing, because you're here. You're the one who's trying to learn how to fix your relationship. So you have to be the leader and do these things, apply these things. And here's the thing. Once you do start to apply these things, it might not be overnight that your partner is going to come jump on board, because this is your journey to be better. There will be some things that pass along and on to your spouse or partner, because it is a byproduct of being in a relationship with you. So once you start to become better, your partner will absolutely start to become better, even if it's a modicum of change at a time. So stop taking things so personally. Point number 3 is to work on the things that you know that you need to improve on. So as I mentioned earlier, if you know that you're a nagger, you need to really rein all of that in and stop the nagging, so you can continue to bring in the love versus repelling your partner, because you're constantly nagging about each and every small thing out there. You have to realize that there are some things that are in your relationship that are never going to be fixed. Let me come closer so you can hear me. You have to realize that there are some things in your relationship that are never going to be fixed. The way that you decide to stay or go, this is at least one way, is to say, okay, if that thing that's not going to be fixed, is it a deal breaker? Is it something that I can live with that's not going to change my core beliefs, my core values, me as a person? Then I can probably deal with that. So cut back on the nagging if this is your area. Maybe you're a person that's very argumentative, or you always have to be right. Nobody is always right about everything. You need to rein that in, because it's not sexy, it's not attractive, and you are repelling your partner from wanting to even have a conversation with you, a deep conversation, because you've tried everything, or you just know you're right about everything, or you're pointing out all the bad stuff that they do instead of focusing on the good stuff that they do to you. So none of us are perfect. And anytime you try to be perfect in your relationship all the time and constantly pointing out all the bad things that your spouse is doing, they are worrying, they are thinking, why am I even here? I'm never going to be able to please him or please her. So why am I here trying in the first place? So work on the areas that you know that you need to improve on. And these are example. Maybe you're one of those people that's saying, well, I don't know what area I need to work on. Think about the things that your spouse or partner has complained about more than one time, and start there. Start there. Make it very simple. And then start paying attention to the things that he or she is pointing out to you more and more later on. And then start to work in that area. If you're hearing that you're a nag, it's because that's what your partner believes that you are. You're a nagger. If they always saying you acting like my mama, it's because you are acting like his mama. And nobody wants to be in a sexual, intimate relationship with their mama. It's not sexy. So work on the areas that you know that you need improvement in. Number 4 is to find more ways to incorporate laughter into your relationship, because so many people out there are not laughing enough. And this goes for so many people, especially in this daytime and age where we don't know what's actually going to happen from day to day. Am I going to be sick? Is my family member going to be sick? Is my parents going to be sick, etc.? We just don't know what's actually going to happen, what's out there. So there's that just not knowing factor right now. And you need to find ways just to be silly, just to let down your hair, let down your guard, so you can release a lot of that anxiety that's building up in all of us. So like me personally, sometimes I'll just get up and dance. I usually get up and dance, and then my baby will get up and dance, and then sometimes my husband will get up and dance as well. I mean, it's not all the time, but I try to bring more laughter, and I'm more intentional, which I've talked about that several times. That is my word for 2020. I am intentional about most things that I am doing on a day-to-day, even hour-to-hour thing, and incorporating more laughter into my marriage is a thing that I'm being intentional about, because I don't want to come home to a very serious environment all the time. I have to be serious outside to make sure that I'm watching my background, my environment. That's what I'm looking for. Watching my environment, or just making sure that I'm not getting played at work, or just whatever it is. I have to keep my serious hat on more often than not. So when I get home, I want to just be able to chill and just be me. And so my baby, of course, is being able to see the real me, and I want my husband to be able to experience the real me more often than not. I want to release all of that junk from day to day. The 5th and final tip that I want to bring to your attention to fix your relationship is to keep a gratitude journal about the things that you're grateful for about life, and then specifically about your partner or spouse. Here's the thing. You don't have to call it journaling. You could say, because maybe you don't have an actual journal, maybe you're just like, wow, that's not something that I would necessarily do. So here's one of the things to fix your relationship. You can go to your partner, say, hey, you know what, I've been thinking about trying to just get your opinion. You don't have to say I'm working on a relationship, because most people, when you do that, they think, well, what's wrong? So just say, you know what, I've been thinking about some questions that I really want your opinion on. And instead of us just talking about it right now, would you mind writing down the question and then answering it, and then us coming together to discuss your thoughts as well as my thoughts? They don't have to know it's a journaling exercise. They don't have to know it's you trying to fix the relationship exercise. Only thing that you need to know is if he or she is going to participate. And if they participate, this is excellent. Excellent. This is one of the first steps to see a difference in your relationship. This will be how you fix your relationship, for sure. But you have to be willing to do the work. You can't be scared to ask the questions. You can't be scared to say, you know what, can you do X, Y, and Z? In this case, journal. Or in this case, can you answer this question? Can you actually give some thought to this question? And then we can discuss it at a later date. And then make the date. And then after you make the date, keep the date. This is how you're going to change and fix your relationship, going from bad to good. But you have to put in some work. And you also have to remember, as I mentioned earlier, 9 times out of 10, your relationship just didn't become bad overnight. So it's going to take you some time to start to implement these things and to get it to good. But it's one day at a time, one different thing at a time. So if you're a nagger, start working on nagging. If you're argumentative, stop arguing. And I have a video about stop arguing. Yeah, find the video. Go watch the video about arguing and why it's not so healthy, which sometimes it can be, but in the majority of cases, it is not as healthy as we would like to think. And guess what? He or she is not listening to you anyway. So you might as well just stop doing it. Again, I am MarshaunO, your favorite life and relationship strategist, and I help Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and shift them to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. Now, before I go, if you have not downloaded your free relationship resource library, then I would encourage you to go ahead and do so. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you just want to vent. Sometimes you just need to talk. Sometimes you just need to get some quick answers. And guess what? Sometimes people are not answering the phone, especially when you need to vent the most. So instead of going to just anybody to vent, how about you download a free relationship resource library, which is going to help you out. It's actually a guide that has several different tips and strategies in there to implement into your relationship. So again, you can go from a bad relationship to shifting it to a good relationship. That link is bit.ly/relationship library. If you missed it, it is down in the description box below. I'll say it here one more time, bit.ly/relationship library. Again, that's bit.ly/relationship library, all one word. Go and download your free resource today. I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And I will see you in a future video. 2 finger salute, y'all. Yeah.